Hello, welcome to this edition of the Breakroom. Today, I'm joined by Stacy Randel, a shareholder here at Mize, and Darryl Shupe, an accounting services manager. And we're going to talk a little bit about Slim Chickens today. So we have a pretty big restaurant practice and a lot in the quick service restaurants, and Slim Chickens happens to be one of our larger clients. So welcome you guys. I think it'll be a fun conversation today. Hey, why don't we start off with what's Slim Chickens?
Slim Chickens is a quick service restaurant based around chicken. Their specialty item is chicken tenders, and then their sides are based on Southern side dishes. So mac and cheese, fried okra, fried pickles, chicken and waffles, so things like that.
And how long have they been around? That's a growing category, right, in the restaurant. So how long has Slim Chickens been around?
About 20 years. I think this is their 21st year.
That's great. And so tell me about, how did Mize get involved with Slim Chickens?
We had a working relationship with a lender who in our McDonald's practice, and he was also working with the corporate folks at Slim Chickens, and they were looking for a better accounting solution for their franchisees. And he put us in touch with corporate, and we had some conversations with them, and they were aware of our reputation in McDonald's and some other concepts that we've worked with. And it just went from there.
So it started with like one locate, like
yes.
one
yeah.
We
had one or two, about three. The first one didn't come on board. The actual third one came on board before the first one did that we talked to. When he opened up the restaurant. So yeah, we had three right away, I think it was, in the first group of them. It's kind of grown from there.
And what do we do for them? Where does it start, and kind of what's the breadth of services that you guys provide?
The main thing that the corporate wanted was help with getting accurate P&Ls.
Mm-hmm.
And since we provide that service, our service to the clients was helping them out with full service as far as the accounting side of it, and doing all the aspects of that, doing a lot of bank recounts, and provide accurate P&Ls on a timely basis to meet their deadline that they're required to by corporate. And I think one of the things that kind of helped us get into the client base was about that same time they started having a lot of stores grow. They got the third parties came a factor. And I think that was one of the points that helped us out, was they was interested in balancing the third-party transactions.
Third parties are what?
The DoorDashes, Uber Eats,
okay.
and Postmates, Grubhub, Easy Cater, all those. And I think that was helpful for us to get into there, because they wouldn't have anybody able to balance that. A lot of the clients, accounting people they were using was doing it kind of cash basis, and they were putting all this to AR, wasn't really tying it out. And I think that helped us get into the clients saw the benefit of that, other than just meeting the P&L requirement from that aspect.
So do we have a lot of experience in that? Because I think that specific is taking up a lot of the revenue now, right? So you got a lot of the revenue being driven around that.
That's about 20-30% of the revenue for most quick service restaurants are third-party deliveries, which is kind of crazy, but that's the way the world is right now. But yeah, it seems like that kind of helped. In our world, we had to adapt to that, because that became a player, and we have to account for that. And Mize has done a good job of doing that.
Great.
We kind of learned as we go, like everybody else has. But I think we got a pretty good handle on that. But yeah, being able to file a sales tax, make sure the third-party sales tax, every state has a different requirement of third parties, where the third party remits the sales tax, or if the client has to remit the sales tax. And our sales tax team does a great job of that. Knows all the rules, and that saves some clients some money, because they were double paying sales tax. Because they're just paying, here's what we collected for sales tax from every sale, but the third party was paying some of that in too for them.
So again, one of the benefits of a Mize, right? So you can do the accounting, but you got the tax people over here, and people that maybe on the third party that have some experience there. So I think that's that. So how has this grown? I mean, you guys started with just a few locations. How's that grown?
Well, a lot of it's been word of mouth, and then we've also attended the annual convention that they have and talked to other franchisees there. And we've stayed in close contact with the folks at corporate, and when they have new requirements, they just change their income statement, P&L layout. And so we were aware of that ahead of time and made the changes that we needed in our system so that we could produce those financial statements in the format that we wanted. So that's been beneficial. Clients don't have to think about that. If they're using us, they know that we're going to get the information to them that they need in the format that they need it.
So I heard a rumor that maybe we had a pretty good relationship with them. So I see something right next to you, Stacy. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So every year at the annual convention, corporate selects a vendor partner of the year. And this year at the convention in 2025, that was Mize. So we were surprised and pleased with that award. Like I said, we've done a lot of work to make sure that the information that we're producing is in the format and timely in the time period that corporate wants it.
And I think a lot of that had to do with also with the emphasis that our clients, the franchisees, are looking at how to drive the bottom line. And corporate was saying, well, you got to have accurate P&Ls so we can help you, the client. I think that's where it helped us benefit by we got a relationship with corporate, but we work for the franchisees. And I think so we kind of know what the franchisor wants and how do we help the franchisee produce their accurate stuff on a timely basis. And I think that helped benefit why we got this award because we're doing that basically.
That's great. And I would say that's probably pretty good because I imagine places like that, you get a lot of like either food vendors and places like that that are big. Finance companies aren't usually thought of as that. And so I think it's a great testament to the work you've done. And I think to the reputation Mize does about really partnering with them. And I think, it sounds like a pretty big deal for us to get that. So maybe let's talk about some, maybe either challenges or some things that you're, extremely proud of, working with this client base.
It's kind of fun because it's new to everybody. It gets a new franchise. They've only got 300 stores domestically. And so everybody's getting into it new, and it's fun to work with them to help them get started, go through the opening of new stores all the way to the end. That's kind of fun to be part of that because you feel like you're part of their team basically, and take a little bit of pride. They're doing well or they're doing bad. We're part of that, I guess. So it's kind of fun to be part of that partnership from that aspect of it as they're adding new stores and going through that growing pains or from that aspect of it.
So you brought up a good point. Do you guys get a lot involved as they're getting involved with Slims and getting into this brand? Do you usually work with them from the onset of that, helping them?
We haven't had that opportunity yet. We basically have helped out once they've signed with corporate and corporate's referred them to us. And we kind of get it after they're basically getting ready to open their first store. We've had a couple got right in right when they opened their first store. And that was nice. And we've had a few that have been in the business with Slims a little longer and have switched accounting firms to us because they weren't getting what they needed from an aspect of it. And then they've grown from there.
Right.
All these franchisees have more franchise contracts with franchisor that they haven't developed yet. And I think we're going to see the more growth on that end of it. It's nice to be part of that early on stage because now as they grow, it becomes more efficient for us and to help them out.
Yeah, I was going to mention because, we have a lot, some big brands that we work with here. But this seems like a great opportunity, kind of in fresh with something that's growing. Imagine it's challenging as well, right, to do that. But what do you kind of see? What do you, Stacy, feel that the kind of future is here? What are you excited about with Slims?
Well, like Darryl said, it's fun to work with new franchisees and with a concept that's not all across the country yet. So they're getting into new markets. And on our end, we're able to take what we've learned in other concepts and then also with the Slims that we've worked with so far and help these new franchisees. We have seen a lot of best practices and things that maybe didn't work so well. So we can give them some advice, some consulting, if you will, to help them make decisions as they're getting started and getting ready to open up stores or opening up new stores. So that's fun.
I think being part of the chicken industry is kind of fun.
Yeah?
it's funny, and it's kind of curious to see the different areas they open up, how well their sales are.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of fun to be part of versus being this in the hamburger side place
Yeah.
or the other concepts. But the chicken space seems to be kind of fun to kind of pay attention to, because it seems to be hot in some areas.
Yes, certainly a growing segment, right? I think there's that's and some competition going up. So I'm sure there's challenges amongst that as well. So as you mentioned about the consulting side of this thing. So, if someone's out there listening and they're thinking about getting involved with like maybe Slims or anything like that, can they just call us and if they have some questions, or do they have to hire us as accountants?
No, we are available to talk to them. We'll spend an hour, a couple hours on the phone or on a Teams call, and just give them some pointers, some things to think about, some things that we've seen that work, some things that don't work so well, some things that they might get surprised by. So give them a little heads up about things. So, absolutely.
We've
do
done that
that
pretty much with everybody
anytime.
that's called us that wants to talk to us about a proposal or something. We've kind of shared, whether they go with this or not, the experiences that we've seen when a client opens a new store. Here's what to expect, and here's what you need to look out for. And Stacy's right. We probably share more than maybe we should, but but that's part of. We're trying to help them out. But hope the opportunity is that they'll realize that we provide a little bit of service there, that they might come back to us.
Yeah, but I think that's the above and beyond, right? I mean, they can go hire accountants, they can hire people to do payroll, but you want them to be a partner in the business, right? You want them to be like, hey, they're going to work with them. I've had the privilege of watching you two a couple times, and certainly seen clients taking the notes and raising their eyebrows about stuff they didn't think about. So I think that's again the thing that I think we bring to bear. And so if anyone's watching this and you're like, hey, I'm thinking of getting into this business, or I'm thinking of that, you should call us. Like, we got some folks that will sit down and we will make the time. They actually like to take a break in the day, actually have some fun conversations.
Yep. And it's just not Slims. It'd be any concept.
Right.
We've got a wide variety of different concepts, but Slims needs to be growing right now, and that's kind of what we're in right now. But
any is, we kind of think, any thoughts for folks like, hey, they're thinking about that, things they should think about, right? You've talked to a lot of folks, maybe a couple, 2-3 things that if you're new getting into this business, that things that you've seen from like a new brand, a lot of new brands opening up. So maybe some things that people should think about.
Location. Location is key. Where is your restaurant going to be at, and what's the traffic going to be like? We kind of seen that drive sales a lot. If your location is hard to get to, or has to take a couple on a one-way and you have to make a U-turn to get back, your sales are not going to be as good. We've seen some open up that way, and that's one thing they've said is this store, easy access, great location. This one's got a little tougher to get to. Well, the sales was $20,000 or $30,000 different a week. So location's key. And then also look at what the cost of real estate is. What's it going to cost you to rent those places? What's your rent going to be? So you look at those things before you go get a location to say, is this feasible? Because you kind of know what your prime cost is going to be, your cost of goods sold, your labor is going to be for that market for the most part. It's what is your kind of fixed cost? What's the variable they're going to be? Are you going to be able to make enough to cover those costs? So that's always something on location. It drives a lot, especially if you get into a college town. Where is it going to be located at? Is it easy access to the college or the military base, wherever you might be located at, could drive up sales. And what's your competition?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Other things to think about, bank account structure. Are you going to have one bank account for all of your operations if you have multiple locations, or are you going to have one for each location? And then entity structure. Do you want to have one entity per location, or all of your locations in one entity and then a parent company? So different things like that. And there's lots of different factors that drive that decision. There's not an answer, or
there's not a wrong answer or a right answer.
Yeah, it's just
what's going to be your ownership structure, what's going to be entity structure. Are you going to own the real estate, or are you going to rent? All those factors need to be taken into consideration. We can help with that. So.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, I know we're not attorneys, right? We can't draw papers, but it's something that you can help them to talk through the different scenarios and talk through with them about the things. I imagine even like the state where they're at, their location might have dictate how they should be set up.
They should get the advice of the attorneys, but they also should get their advice of their accounting people and tax people. Just don't take it from the legal side of it. Legal side wants everything broke out this way, but what's the most efficient for your operation? You probably want to get an aspect of legal, accounting, and probably even banking.
Yeah. And I mean, we have our tax folks, right, to get involved.
Right.
Like, what are the tax ramifications and tax planning that they can be looking at?
Absolutely.
So overall, you guys have been pretty pleased with how this is going at Slim's?
Yes. Yes. We have a great group of clients that we work with, and we're always anxious to talk to some more folks in the system. So
great. Well, I appreciate you guys stopping by today, talking a little about Slim Chickens. Hopefully anybody has questions. If you're in the Slim Chickens business or any kind of QSR business and you'd like some information about how to get going or just have some questions, give us a call. You can send an email to the Breakroom at MizeCPAs.com. You can reach out to myself, Marc Swearengin, Stacy, or Darryl, and we will follow up with you. So I appreciate you guys stopping by today. You guys have a good day. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Mize Breakroom. If you watch this episode on YouTube, please like and subscribe so you never miss another episode. You can find the Mize Breakroom anywhere you can find podcasts. If you like what you heard, please rate and review the podcast 5 stars. Looking for more information? You can find us on most social media platforms at Mize CPAs. Thanks for listening, and see you next time in the Breakroom. The Mize Breakroom is produced by Mize CPAs and hosted by Marc Swearengin. Mize CPAs is not a law firm and does not provide legal advice. The information shared in this podcast is for general information purposes only and is not intended to constitute legal or technical accounting, tax, consulting, and/or professional advice that may apply to your specific business. The listener is encouraged to consult counsel and/or their accountant before making decisions or taking any action concerning the matters in this communication to address the recipient's particular facts, circumstances, position, business considerations, or other unique relevant matters, as well as to evaluate any applicable federal, state, or local laws.